Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, a couple years ago or so, a friend and I made a mod for Halo 3 where Master Chief saves Sergeant Johnson by carrying him all the way to the Warthog. And the Warthog itself is a cut medical Warthog in Halo 3. And if you guys remember that video, when Sergeant Johnson is sitting in the back of the medical Warthog, he's also playing a cut injured animation. But one interesting thing about that animation is that while he's in that animation state, he also has a couple weird lines where he's just shouting what sounded like French to me at the time. Here's a clip from that original video. So at the time, I was confused by what was going on. I had no idea why Johnson was speaking what sounded like French to me. And I just assumed that it was like an MCC glitch where for some reason the game was pulling dialogue from the French audio files instead of the English audio files. But it turns out that wasn't the case at all. In fact, what's really going on is quite interesting. So, this animation that Johnson is in, where he's injured, it's actually triggering a certain type of dialogue in the category called anger. And only Johnson has audio lines that fit that category, anger. No other character has that. So here's all of Johnson's anger dialogue. And like I said, only he has anger dialogue.
Et j'ai pas entendu les péteurs, le par contre, je l'ai parti. Ta pouf ici. Et ta crête, je l'ai pas fontaneux. Elle est no regrets. Elle est puissant. What the fuck?
So like I said, I originally thought that was French, because it really sounded like French to me. But that's kind of the point of it. So I asked a lot of people from the French Halo community, as well as people that speak French Canadian, to look into this and see if they could translate and see what Johnson is actually saying. And as it turns out, Johnson is not speaking French. Rather, he's just speaking gibberish that's made to sound like French. I've been told it's basically, like, it's kind of like a stereotype that you hear when people are asked to, do their best impression of French. This is kind of like what people would do. They would just speak like kind of like gibberish with like a French accent, or like what sounds like a French accent. But that is not French at all. What's interesting though is that in other languages that MCC supports, they also try to do the exact same thing. And when I say the exact same thing, I mean they literally try to copy the fake French lines from the English version. So I'll show you a couple examples in a bit, but what they do is they literally try to mimic the exact same fake French lines, but these voice actors are kind of doing it in their native language and native accent. So it sounds a little bit different, but it's largely still the same. So here's two examples of it in other languages.
离控制室不远了。
虫族爬满了那座塔，小心点。
However, not every language does that. Not every language just imitates the fake French. In fact, two languages, like actual French and Korean for some reason, they actually don't imitate the fake French. They actually say actual dialogue lines and not gibberish. So let's listen to both and I'll tell you what they actually translate to.
Non, mais tout mais alors, il y a French. Vous faites chier, tiens. C'est un bordel. Vous faites chier, tiens. Je suis mais oui, je regrette. Pour vrai. Mais alors, il y a French. 야, 이 개자식아, 너 뒤... 저 틀어지는 소리 마! 시팔놈 족같이 구네. 너 오늘 돼질 저 틀어지는 소리 마! 야, 이 개자식아. 족가!
야, 이 개자식아, 너 뒤질래? 야, 이 천만아. 야, 이 개삼아, 이리 와봐. 조까!
Alright, so once again, thanks to the international Halo community, I was able to get these translated as well. And like I said, they do translate to actual dialogue, and they aren't just gibberish made to sound like French. So in the actual French translation, basically Sgt Johnson is just yelling a bunch of random French profanity, as well as something about a brothel, I think, or something like that. And as for the Korean version, it's also quite similar in that he's just basically yelling a bunch of random Korean profanity as well. Now, why are these two languages the ones that use actual dialogue and not just random gibberish made to sound like French? I'm not sure. It could be some miscommunication with the dubbing teams or something like that, but those two languages are a little more unique. I guess it makes sense with the French version, because it'd be kind of weird for them to do like fake French with a real French speaker, I guess. But yeah, I mean those lines, basically all these lines, it does kind of fit the category of anger, which is what these lines are meant to be triggered when Johnson's in his injured state. And I guess it does make sense that he's angry when he's yelling a bunch of profanity. But why Bungie chose to make it sound like fake French for Johnson, I have no idea. That is probably something that only some of the original Bungie devs would know the answer to. But there you guys have it. Those are Johnson's secret voice lines in Halo 3 that you've probably never heard before. And they're only triggered by a cut injured animation for Sgt. Johnson. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it to be interesting. If you did, then as always, make sure to leave a like. I'll leave your thoughts in the comments. Anything else you want me to check or look into, just let me know in the comments down below. But aside from that, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.